Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha. Sharada Sharadam Bhoja Vadana Vadanam Bhuje Sarvada Sarvada Asmakam Sannidhim Kriyat Shri Sharada Parameshwar Jai Namaha. Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम. So namaste everybody once again.
Namaste Raghuji.
So we are seeing Subandha Prakriya. And in the last class, I think, one thing, please remind me today about homework. So towards the end of the class, in case I forget. So Subandha Prakriya, I think we were seeing the pronouns. We saw adas, idam, etad and all that. And now we will go to Yushmad and Asmad Shabdas. Okay. Let me see. Yes. I think. Yeah, we saw that others last one. Correct? Asavam Amu. Yeah. As I told you, you don't need to necessarily memorize all these things. But if you come across, the word like asav and all, very commonly we will come across. But others I have myself not come across, like amubhyam, amuyoho and all that. Maybe, in Kalidasa's works and all, it may be there. But of course, I have not studied Kalidasa works. So, but just be aware that there is this pratipadikam, sarvanama, adas, which is that. And most importantly, since there are some pratipadikam which have similar meanings, like etad and idam have similar meaning as this, adas and tad have got the similar meaning as that. Then what makes the difference, as I told you in the last class, etad is nearer than idam, then adas is nearer than tad. So that is the difference, in terms of understanding, in terms of interpretation of these words. This we have already seen in the last class. So now we will see Yushmad and Asmad, these two. See, Yushmad is you, Asmad means I or we. Both can be taken. They are also Sarvanama Pratipadikas. So they indicate the listener and the speaker. When one person is speaking, another one is listening, they indicate the I and you. So Yushmad, you, and Asmad, I, they have the same forms in all the three lingas, right? Examples are given. Tvam Devadattaha, Tvam Parvati, Tvam Mitram. Then Aham Devadattaha, Aham Parvati, Aham Mitram. So that is the declension are more or less similar. So in second, fourth, and sixth case, there are optional forms both for Yushmad and Asmad, which is Ishwaraha Tvam Twa Rakshatu. So there are two forms. Tvam is there, Twa is there. Ishwaraha Tvam stroke Twa Rakshatu, may the Lord protect you. Ishwaraha Mam, there should be a halanta here, it is not appearing. It should be Mam. I'm not really. Mam, Ma Rakshatu, may the Lord protect me or us. Okay. No, sorry, it will be protect me only, because plural us will come naha. Okay. Then Ishwara hai, yuvam vam rakshatu. May the Lord protect the two of us. Yuvam vam. Protect the two of you, it should be yuvam vam, right? Then avam now rakshatu. There are some mistakes in Michika's book. Avam now rakshatu. May the Lord protect the two of us. Avam now. Then Yushman vaha rakshatu. May the Lord protect you all. Plural. Then Asman naha rakshatu. May the Lord protect us. So this, of course, this Yushma and Asma Shabdam, we will come across very often in the language. So this is something very useful to know. Even not only the regular form, but also the optional forms. Because this now and naha and all that, very commonly it will come in Veda mantras, in Bhagavad Gita and all that, in all slokas and all. This is very common. In fact, I have seen more of naha than asman, then more of now than avam. So like that, that twa also is there. So all these things we have to just note that this is these two are very important sarvanama shabdas. Okay. So some more examples are given. Namaha tubhyam te namaha. Salutation. Namaha te. I don't know why one more namaha is there. Namaha tubhyam or te namaha. Salutations to you. That itself is, should be there. Namaha tubhyam or namaha te or tubhyam namaha or te namaha. There is no need for two namaha. I don't know why it is there. Then mahyam me swasti. May auspiciousness be on me. Mahyam. Then namaha yuvabhyam vam namaha. Again same thing. Salutations to you too. Avabhyam now swasti. May auspiciousness be on us too. Namaha yushmabhyam vaha namaha. Salutation to you all. Then asmabhyam naha swasti. May auspiciousness be on us all. Then tavate siddhihi. Your success. Success spelling is wrong. Mama me siddhihi. My success. Yuvayoho vam griham. The house of you too. Avayoho now griham. The house of us too. Yushmakam vaha acharya. The teacher of you all. Asmakam naha acharya. Our teacher. So these are all the usages of this. We'll see the forms of this Yushmat Shabdam. Tvam yuvam yuyam, tvam twa yuvam vam yushman vaha, tvaya yuvabhyam yushmabhihi, tubhyam te yuvabhyam vam yushmabhyam vaha, tvat yuvabhyam yushmat, tava te yuvayoho vam yushmakam vaha, tvayi yuvayoho yushmasu. Seventh case. So just we like here, there are no patterns or anything. Between Asmat and Yushmat, there is a pattern. If you know one, you can do the other one also. But other than that, in terms of the other pronouns and all, this is separate category. So we will have to either memorize it or know where to refer for it. Okay. Similarly, aham avam vayam, mam ma avam now asman naha, maya avabhyam asmabhihi, mahyam me avabhyam now asmabhyam naha, mat avabhyam asmat, mama me avayoho now asmakam naha, mayi avayoho asmasu. Obviously, this is being this sarvanama, there is no vocative case. There is no sambodhana in these sarvanama shabdas. Okay. Now, one of the things that we have to make a note, which is not covered here, but if you look at the page 67 in Shabdamanjari, in the bottom note they have given the optional shorter forms of Yushmat and Asmat, namely Twa, Vam, Vaha, Te, what is that? Tvam, Vam, Vaha, and in the case of Asmad, ma now naha, me now naha, and me now naha, right? These two optional forms, they are never used at the beginning of a sentence or of a foot of a sloka, nor can they be used immediately before particles cha, ha, ha, ah, and eva. So this usage of these optional forms, we have to be careful. Of course, we are not going to compose anything, so we don't need to pay so much attention. But if we will not come across this at the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence, so if we come across that at the beginning of a sentence, that means there is something wrong. Grammatically, that sentence is wrong. So this is their additional note in the Shabda Manjari. You can refer to these notes, page 67, at the footnote they have given. Okay. So this is so far as Yushmat and Asmat is concerned. Then there is also a usage called Anvadesha. Anvadesha is used with idam and etad. What is this Anvadesha? It is referring to the same object again. That's called Anvadesha. So when one object is mentioned for conveying something, then again the same object is mentioned for conveying something else. That mentioning of the same object for the second time is called Anvadesha in grammatical terminology. When idam, this, and etad, this are used in Anvadesha, they assume different forms in the second. So in the second case, 2 bar 1, 2 bar 2, 2 bar 3, 3 bar 1, 6 bar 2, and 7 bar 2. In these cases, the Pratipadika is replaced by ena in all three genders. Note that they are not optional forms. Idam and of eta, idam and eta, they are actually different from idam eta, but conveying the same meaning, right? So what are these? That 2 bar 1, 2 bar 1, 2 bar 2, and 2 bar 3 will be enam, yenam, yenan. Then tritiya enena. Then shashti and saptami, it will become enayoho, enayoho. Then rest, of course, they decline as usual, rather, right? So this usage is only specially meant for Anvadesha. That is when the same object is referred to in the same sentence, 2 times. So one time it will be like eta, the other will be like enau, enan, etc. Right? Then idam shabdam, referring again, and etad in the neuter. That will be dutiya, enad, enad, ene, enani. That will be neutral gender. This Anvadesha. Here we saw pullinga in the masculine. Yenam, yenau, yenan, yenena, then yenayoho, yenayoho. Then this is neutral. Yenat, enad, ene, yenani. Then in feminine, it will be yena, yene, yenaha, then yenaya. Of course, it is anena, we saw like yenena. Then anaya, we saw it is enaya. And yenayoho, yenayoho, anayoho, anayoho. So we know that, the Shabdam, we have seen it. So same slightly modification of that. I'm just giving you all these things. In all our normal this thing, we may not come across these usages at all, very rarely. But if you come across a usage, you, at least if you hear it somewhere in the corner of your mind, you put it, then you will be able to relate to it. What exactly is this ene, enayoho, and all that? Because in dictionary and all, we will not be able to get these things that easily. We'll have to do a lot of search. Okay. So this is the Anvadesha, in this thing. Of course, there are no examples which are given for Anvadesha. I will see if I get some examples, some sentences, then I will share with you in the next class.
This is for both the idam and the donam, enat, yenat.
Yeah. Both. Yeah, exactly. Both for idam and etad, both. This is Anvadesha, right?
Okay, thank you.
So, because see, when we are using idam and etad for referring to some object which is near, in both the cases we can use this.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is it. So that's why, it would have been much better if she had given some examples. But let me actually check whether I can get some examples somewhere. Of course, I will also do a lot of search to get the examples for these, because very rarely we come across these kind of usages. So, but it is there in the language, so we just have to be aware of it. That's all. Okay. Then next we now go to, this finishes the Ajanta Prakriya, Ajanta Subanta Prakriya. That is all Ach words. Now we will go to the consonant ending, Halanta.
Raghuji, before we go into this, last week there was one clarification which you told, I mean, you check and come back on this.
Which was that?
Dirgha of Vari Shabda.
Sorry, I think
Varini.
Varini, correct. Yeah, I was supposed to check it. I'm sorry. I will make a note of it now. I will tell you in the next class. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Just to slip my mind. There are some few more things, extra things which are going on these days at my home. So
No, it's fine, Raghuji. It's fine. It's fine.
Sorry, I will certainly find it. I'm sure I'll be able to find out why it becomes Varini rather. So I will let you know in the next class. I'll make a note and certainly let you know in the next class first thing. Okay, right. So we'll now go to Halanta. Okay. So declension is done. We all know this, and the concept of this declension most useful while declining consonant ending pratipadikas, because most of the declined forms are made by simply combining the pratipadikas and supratyaya. Unlike in the case of Ajanta, where we came across a lot of yan sandhis and all that, here in consonant ending pratipadikas, the complications are much less. Of course, sandhi rules are there. We have to follow the sandhi rules. But those are all the consonant sandhi rules which will kick in. And so, the possibilities of yan, where yan and all will kick in only when there is a swara on this side, a, I, u, and all, and then followed by another, swara rather. But here, the consonant ending, there's no ending of any vowel. So then most of the cases will be just combining with the supratyaya only will happen. Okay. But as I said, consonants and the rules are applied in many places. Therefore, consonants and the rules which we have studied have to be brought into play as applicable. That is why, we studied the consonants and the rules also first before getting into this rather. So the common steps in the declension of Halanta Pratipadikas are supratyayas without it letters are suffixed to the Pratipadika. Like we know, like for example, Sugand plus is. It is sup, 1 bar 1 is su, right? Su. But there we remove the it letters and it becomes only is, that is Sakara. So in 1 bar 1, Pratyaya Sakara is elided after the consonant. That is the first rule we must remember. So in Sugun plus S, this yes vanishes. That is why in the case of Ajanta Pratipadikas, the yes doesn't vanish but gets converted into Visarga, right? Whereas in the case of Halanta Pratipadikas, it becomes Lopa. It comes in and vanishes. So that is why if you look at all our consonant declensions, 1 bar 1 invariably will be, of course exceptions are there, it will be like for example Halanta Pullinga. There this Sakara is vanished. So there is the very first Jalamuch is the Pratipadika. Jalamuch means the cloud, right? So Jalamuch plus yes should be there. Then Jalamuch will become Jalamuk because of the the Kutvam rule, Sandhi rule, but it will not be Jalamukaha. It will be Jalamuk only because the S will vanish. We will see all this application of this rule. So consonant ending, general rule, exceptions, keep it aside. General rule is that the 1 bar 1, the Visarga will not be there. The Sakara, Supratyaya vanishes. Then Sandhi rules apply between the last letter of the Pratipadika and the first letter of the Supratyaya. That is something that we have to remember. Obviously, because that will become very obvious when we are combining the Pratipadika with the Supratyaya. So if the Anga is termed Pada, the last letter of the Pratipadika is considered to be at the end of the Pada. Thus, the Sandhi rules for Padanta will apply. We have seen the Padanta Sandhi rules. We have seen the Sandhi rules which apply in, Sarvanama and all that. So, in between the Pada, what Sandhi rules apply, what Padanta Sandhi rules apply, we have seen all that. So, that we have to remember that if it is at the end, then Padanta Sandhi rule will apply rather. So, for example, Marut plus Bhyam is there. Bhyam is 3 bar 2. So, the Marut, it becomes Padanta. So, what we have to do, the Sandhi rules, Marut becomes Marud. Right? Because the consonant, this is hard takara, so it becomes soft takara, Marud. Then it becomes Marud Bhyam. So, the last consonant end of the Pada is softened. Then Sakara at the end of the Pada is changed to Visarga. So, if there is a Sakara at the end, for example, Sugan plus As 1 bar 3, it will become Sugunas and the Sakara will be Visarga Sugunaha, Suganaha, it will become that. So, these are some of the common steps that we have to remember when doing Halanta Pratipadika. You must remember, don't get confused. Only 1 bar 1 Sakara vanishes. Other Sakaras which come, like Su, Au, Jas, Am, Au, Shas, those Sakaras and all, they remain and they get converted into Visarga, like in the case of the vowel Pratipadika. Okay.
Marud plus Bhyam, that this is Jashu Sandhi, something.
Yeah, Marud Bhyam is Jashu Sandhi, correct. Takara becomes Dakara, right? So basically what is happening is this hard consonant becomes a soft consonant. We have seen all these things. Yeah. So this is the general rules, some simple rules we have to remember when doing the Hal Sandhis. Otherwise, Hal Sandhis are much simpler than Ach Sandhis. Okay. So now we will see the Nakara ending Pullinga, Strilinga, which is Sugan, is the example. Sugan means the one who counts well. Is simplest to decline among all Pratipadikas because it requires least number of modification in declension. The declension is as follows. Sugan plus S, Supratyaya without it letter is suffixed for declension, 1 bar 1. This is how actually the declension needs to be done step by step, like we do the arithmetic and all that, mathematics. So we have to do in Sanskrit also step by step. If we do that, then final form we'll be able to get it without any problem. Of course, we have to also know the grammar rules, so that those rules need to be applied at every step rather. But here it is simple, like Sugan, that Sakara is vanishing in 1 bar 1. So that Sakara of 1 bar 1 is to be elided after the consonant. Then the final form is Sugan. That's all. Nakara ending Pratipadika. This is the final form of 1 bar 1. Then Sugan plus Au. Supratyaya. Say Su Au, isn't it? 1 bar 2. Then it becomes simple Suganau. Just Varna Meranam is there. Sugan plus Au. Suganau. Final form of 1 bar 2. Etc. Then Sugan plus As will become Suganaha. Isn't it? Then in 2 bar 1 what? Suganam. Like that it will decline. So Sugan, Suganau, Suganaha. Suganam, Aushas, right? Shas also the content is as only. So Suganam, Suganau, Suganaha. Then A is there, isn't it? Top, Ta, Tabhyam bis is there, right? So Ta content is A. So it becomes to Sugana. Then Suganbyam, Suganbyam, Suganbihi, Sugane, A, Suganbyam, Suganbyaha, Suganaha. Then after A, what is there? Tabhyam bis, Yebyam bas, Nyasibyam bas. So Nyasi is Sakara is there. So Suganaha comes. Then Suganbyam, Suganbyaha, Suganaha, Suganoho, Suganam, Sugani, E comes. Suganoho, Sugansu, He Sugan, He Sugano, He Sugana. So if you see in the entire Sugana, it is just adding the to this thing, the end of consonant end and the beginning of the pratyayas, then you get all the form. Only thing is wherever there is a sakara ending, in the sakara in the pratyayas, that has to be converted into visarga. That is the only thing that we have to remember. So it's very simple, straightforward. You have to just remember the pratyayas. That's all. Then you just keep on adding it. This is the simplest one, nakara and the sugan shabda. Okay. Then words which decline in the same manner are yan, an, and yan. It's not yana, yan. It should be pratyaya, yan and an pratyahara. Okay. So yan pratyahara will decline like this. I think make the correction here itself. Later on, I may forget it. Yan. Yeah. So an pratyahara, if you want to decline an pratyahara, you can decline. You must not think that an means all letters in an will decline, because an is starting itself is vowel. We are not talking about vowel at all. It is the pratyahara an. If you want to decline, it will decline like sugan. Okay. Then the words which decline in the same manner except for 7-3, where is become ish. Murdhanyatvam takes, which is hal, jal, eng, pratyahara. So let us observe the steps for the declension of hal. Hal plus s, right? Sakara. Su. Supratya without it letter is suffixed. Now the supratya vanishes. Is to be elided after the consonant. So the first one, 1 bar 1 will be hal. Final form will be hal. Then halau, 1 bar 2. Halaha, 1 bar 3. Right? Hal plus as, 1 bar 3. Supratya, suffix for declension. The last sakara at the end of the pada becomes visarga. It becomes so halaha, 1 bar 3. Final form of 1 bar 3. Then 7 bar 1. Hala plus E, hal plus E, it should be, right? It should be hal plus he. So supratya is for declension, it becomes hali, final form of 7 bar 1. Then hal plus os, 7 bar 2. Supratya is suffix for declension. The last yes becomes visarga, so it becomes haloho. Then hal plus su, supratya is suffix for declension, but su becomes shu, murdhanyatvam, because lakara is proceeding, right? So we must know, if you go back to our murdhanyatvam, what is proceeding, what is succeeding, you will know that in what all cases the sakara becomes shakara. You refer to murdhanyatva sandhira, what we have seen. So then we will know it has to be converted into shakara. So it becomes hal shu is 7 bar 3 form for hal pratyahara. Okay. So that is so far as the lakara ending and nakara ending pratipadikas. Now, ta, takara, dhakara, dhakara and bhakara ending pullinga and strilinga. Example is marut. For pratipadikas ending with jhal, jhal is consonants from first to fourth of the classes and sibilants, right? The last letter becomes the third of the class and at the end of the pada. Jastva takes, right? Here, don't worry about 8 to 39. That is the reference to the Panini Sutra, Jastva. However, it becomes hardened in 7 bar 3 and optionally in 1 bar 1, Chartwa, because of Chartwa Sandhi. So in the same declension, we will come across, two rules rather. Chartwa is 8455, 8456 rather. So the steps of declension of Marut is described below. So just see, Marut is there. So 1 bar 1, it becomes soft, Marud, right? Optional. Marut is also there, Marud is optional form. Then Marutau, Marutaha, same thing. Au and as you have to add. Marutam, Marutau, Marutaha. Then Maruta, then Marudbhyam. Again, same thing is happening. Jashtva Sandhi is happening. Marudbhyam, Marudbihi, then Marute, Marudbhyam, Marudbhyaha, Marutaha, Marudbhyam, Marudbhyaha. Then Marutaha, Marutoho, Marutam, no change, just add the pratyaya. Maruti, Marutoho, add pratyaya, Marutsu. Right? So here, that supratyaya is there. So it again, it doesn't, because of this, it remains hard rather, right? It doesn't become the soft consonant. Because it is not followed by this, Jastom doesn't take place here. So it remains as Marutsu only. Then in the vocative also, Marud is there. Again, Jastom takes place. He Marud, he Maruto, he Maruta. So if you look at it, except for this Jastva Sandhi coming and here Chartvam coming, all others are just like Sugand, just adding the Pratipadika and the Pratyaya. Nothing else is to be done so far as the Takaranta Pullinga Shabdas are concerned. Okay. So it is explained in detail steps by step. Marut plus yes, that Sakara vanishes, rather it is elided. So it becomes Marut, and then consonant of the pra becomes softened by Jastom. It becomes Marud. Optionally, it can remain Marut also. Okay. Then Marut, these are the final forms of 1 bar 1. Then Marut plus Au, Supratyaya is suffixed, Marutau it becomes. Then in Pada section, shown in gray background in the table, which is this Pada section, right? We must remember these labels. Okay. Pada section, Marut plus Bhyam, Supratyaya is suffixed, then it becomes Marud Bhyam. Again, Jastom takes place. So Marud Bhyam, final form. Then Marud Su, it first becomes Marud Su because first it softens. Then because Marud is followed by a hard consonant, this also reverses back or becomes hard consonant again. That is why it is Marud Su. This is the Chartvam rule rather, 8455. Okay. So this is the only thing that we have to remember. Other things very easy to decline. We can decline just by adding the Pratipadika and the Pratyaya. Okay. So the other Pratipadikas will decline in the same manner are At, which is masculine, Vidyut, feminine, Sarvabhrit, masculine and feminine both. It comes in both the lingas. Then Krishna Karmakrit, I don't know from where she got this word. So this is again Krishna Karmakrit means the one who has done everything completely. That's a very beautiful word.
It is in Bhagavad Gita.
Probably in Gita, because I
It's
don't
there.
remember Krishna Karmakrit.
It's there. Okay.
I don't know. I will have to check whether this
Is that equal to Kritakritya, Guruji? This
it is
Krishna
equal to
Karmakrit?
Yes.
Kritakritya only.
Yes, yes.
It is
Okay,
equal
okay.
to Krita. Bhagavad Gita, Kritakritya is used. But Krishna Karmakrit is there in Bhagavad Gita. I don't recall straight away with whatever little knowledge I have got. But this must be there somewhere. Krishna
It is the tip
Karmakrit.
of my tongue, but I am not getting it.
Huh?
The tip of my tongue, I am not getting it.
Yeah, exactly. So somewhere it must be there. Krishna, but it's a beautiful word. Krishna Karmakrit, completely who has done. But Krishna means completely, right? What was to be done, the one who has done it completely, done everything, is a Krishna Karmakrit. Again, that is a Takara ending Pratipadika for our purposes. So it will decline just like a Marut rather, Krishna Karmakrit. Okay. Then Dakara ending words are Suhrid, Mrid. Mrid is feminine. Sampad is feminine. Sarvavid, masculine, feminine, both is there. Apad, calamity, feminine. Upanishad, feminine rather. So all these are all Takara and Dakara ending Pratipadikas. They all decline exactly just like what we have seen just now. Okay. So Suhrid is the example given. So here she has the side given the steps also. So Suhrid and Suhrid, both forms are there. Where Suhrid plus Sakara, Sakara vanishes. That is the Supratyaya vanishes and becomes Suhrid. And then Suhrid goes back to the hard consonant, Suhrid. Then Suhridau, Suhridaha, Suhridam, Suhridau, Suhridaha, Suhrida. Then come to Pada section, Suhridbhyam. So same thing. There is no change actually because it is already a soft consonant, Suhrid. It need not change to hard consonant and then come back. So Suhridbhyam, Suhridbihi, right? Then here also Suhridbhyaha, same remains, right? Suhridsu, here it changed. Suhrid becomes hard consonant because Su is a hard consonant following. So Suhridsu it becomes rather. And in vocative also, He Suhrid is there. Then Suhridau, Suhridaha. So this is so far as Dakara ending Suhrid Pratipadika is concerned. We saw Marut, we have seen Suhrid also rather. Okay. Now Dhakara ending. Shuddh, hunger, is feminine. Samid also feminine. Samid means the fuel rather, what we use in Homa, Samid. So here, Shuddh is actually, we have declined Shuddh. Shuddh and Shuddh, both are there, right? So Shuddh is Jastvam, Shuddh is Chartvam. So Dhakara converts into, takes the one form is Chartvam applies, another form is Jastvam applies. So the Shuddh becomes Shuddh and Shuddh. So this is a change we need to note. This Dhakara does not remain Dhaka, Mudhanya Dhakara only, right? Mahaprana, not Mudhanya, Mahaprana. So Shuddh and Shuddh, then that's only for 1 bar 1. Huh? Why? Because Su is following, right? Then other, no change in others. Chudau, Chudaha, Chudam, Chudau, Chudaha, Chuda, Chudbyam. Again here soft consonant comes. Dha is replaced by Dakara. Chudbyam, Chudbihi, then Chudhe, Chudbyam, Chudbyaha, Chudaha, Chudbyam, Chudbyaha, Chudaha, Chudoho, Chudam, Chudi, Chudoho, Chudsu. Again Sakara is there. So it becomes hard consonant again. Chud becomes hard. Takara is replaced. Okay, Jastvam take place. Those are Chartvam takes place. That becomes Chudsu. Then He Chud, He Chud, He Chudao, He Chudaha. Yeah, that's the same thing as 1 bar 1 rather. Sambodhana. So this is so far as Dhakara ending Pratipadika is concerned. So we have seen Takara, Dakara and Dhakara ending Pratipadikas. Okay. Then Bhakara ending words. Bha, Anushtub, Kakub, all these words are there. So again, the basic rule remains the same. We are playing around with only two sandhis, Jashtvam and Chartvam. That's all. We have to remember only these two in all these cases. So Anushtub become one form, Anushtub. Anushtub is the Chartvam. Anushtub is Jashtvam. So Anushtub in 1 bar 1, 2 forms. Then Anushtubhau, Anushtubha, Anushtubham, Anushtubhau, Anushtubha, Anushtubha. Then comes para section. Anushtubhyam. That Bhakara becomes softened. Bakara it becomes, right? By Jashtvam. Anushtubhyam, Anushtubbihi. So Anushtubbihi, we must note there is a Bakara in between. Half Bakara. Then Anushtubhyam, Anushtubhyaha, Anushtubhyam, Anushtubhyaha, same. Then Anushtubaha, Anushtuboho, Anushtumbham, Anushtubi, Anushtuboho, Anushtusu. Again, Anushtusu, the Pakara comes in because of Chartva. Bha becomes Pa. Right? So that we must remember. In all these things, these are the common pattern. Jashtvam, Chartvam. Where we have to apply Jashtvam, where we have to apply Chartvam, that we have to be very clear rather. Once we remember the Sandhi rules and then examine the end letters of these Pratipadikas, then it will be easily we will know Chartvam is applicable here, Jashtvam is applicable here. 1 bar 1, 2, both the forms are there. So that's something that we have to remember. Okay. So this is so far as Bhakara ending words, Anushtub. Then
Guruji,
Chakara,
that Krishna Karmakrit comes in 4th chapter Gita, Guruji. Just
so
check.
it is there.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I don't remember. It's not there in my mind. There are certain phrases in Gita are there in my mind. Like so many phrases are there. But this one somehow, if it is there, I will check it up today. 4th chapter. It's a beautiful. I mean, I really like that Krishna Karmakrit. Very nice word. So thanks for that. Huh? You have been able to check. I don't know whether you are checking that or listening to what I'm saying. Okay. Now
Both, Guruji.
Both. Multitasking. Huh? Okay, good. So Chakara and Jakara ending Pullinga and Striling. The example is given is rich. Right. So for Pratipadikas ending with Chakara, Jakara, the last letter becomes Kakara and Gakara at the end of the pada by applying Kutvam rule. Correct. Like Jalamuch, I told you, Jalamuk, it becomes Kutvam rule. Other steps such as softening, hardening are the same as before. So Rik is the rich is the Pratipadika. So it becomes Rik or Rig. Both forms are there. Okay. So Jalamuch becomes Jalamuk or Jalamug also. Okay. So Rik or Rig. Then Richau, Richaha, no problem. Richam, Richau, Richaha, no problem. Richa, no problem. Rigbyam, Rigbihi. So here again we have to see what is happening. The Kutvam rule kicks in. Rigbyam, Rigbihi, Rigbyam, Rigbyaha, Rigbyam, Rigbyaha. Then again Rig and Rig. Then Rikshu is there. Su because
This is Rigveda, Guruji. That Rig, Guruji?
Yeah, Rigveda, that Rig. That is actually Rich is the original one. Then because Rich is not used, it's called Rig in 1 bar 1. So it's Rigveda. You are right. Rig means a verse set to a meter. That is called a Rig in the language. So Rigveda is all in poetic meters. That's why it is called Rigveda. And that is what Vyasa Muni did. Because Vedas originally there were no differences. But all mantras which were set to certain meters, like they were in verse form, he compiled them into one Veda and called that Rigveda. Rigveda means the Veda which has got mantras in the form of Rig. That is all is the meaning. Then Yajus is there. Yajur Veda is all prose form. Sama Veda is all musical, set to musical tones rather. So that is how he, he divided the Vedas rather. He did the Veda Vyasa, that's why he's called the 3 Vedas he divided, so that it will be easier for people to, especially in Kali Yuga, to follow at least one Veda. He knew that all people will forget Vedas and all that. I don't want to get into Vedanta here, but you are right. This Rig and Rich is the original Pratipadika for Rig Veda, the word Rig in the Rig Veda. Okay. So this is again, we have to remember the Kutvam rule rather. So here it is actually explained, Rich plus Sakara, then Rich 1 bar 1, then it becomes a Rig 1 bar 1. That is your Kutvam rule. Rig 1 bar 1, that is optional rule to Kutvam. Then it comes back to Rig, right, 456. So this is one form. Rig and Rig are one form in 1 bar 1 rather. Then Richau, Rich Byam, Rig Byam. Rich Byam becomes Rig Byam. Then it becomes Rig Byam also. So there are 2 sutras which are applicable, Rig Byam and Rig Byam. Okay. Then Rich plus Su, Rigshu, Rigshu, Rigsu, Rigshu, then Rigshu. So that's how we get this form, Rigshu is there. So you can follow, this is how actually, if we are learning this, how to decline, this is how we have to learn. Take a book and a pencil or a pen, sit down, one by one add the pratyayas and then apply your mind. What this Sandhi rule will apply in this case. If there is no Sandhi rule applicable, no problem. Just add the 2 and you got the form. This is how we learn. Once we learn like that, and a few once we learn, then these Sandhi rules and all will set in our mind very clearly, and we will be able to get all the declensions without any problem. The only thing is, in some circumstances, 2, 3 Sandhi rules may apply. One Sandhi rule will apply and that will give you one form. Then we will find that another Sandhi rule, because of the revised form, there is another Sandhi rule kicks in. Then that Sandhi rule, if you apply, we will get another alternate optional form. And there is another Sandhi rule which will actually revert it to the original form also. So these are all the changes which takes place in terms of declension, and how we learn the declensions are, for example, in the commentaries for all the grammar, the Panini Sutra commentaries which are there, like you got Kashika, Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, and Prathama Vritti, so many are there. In those, they would have actually derived in this form only. Step by step, when they derive, then you will get the final form without any mistake. So there, if you know the sutras, if you at least, you need not know all the sutras, you at least know the rules relating to the sandhis, then keep it in front of you, take any shabda and then go on any pratipadika and then add the supratyayas. You will automatically come to the final forms which are there. And once we keep on doing that, then it becomes very easy for us to remember also rather. It will set in our memory without our putting any effort to memorize them. Okay. So other chakara ending words are vach, feminine, twach, skin, ritvij, bishaj, doctor, right? These are all words, bishaj and all will come across in Rudram and all that. Our bishaj becomes a bishak there. All that when we Rudra, what is that? Rudra Prashna, we will see these bishaj and all that usages, different usages. Okay. Then next we go to in ending Pullinga, Strilinga, Pratipadika. Nakara ending, Yogin and Yogini, because it is in Strilinga, it is Yogini. Okay. The Pratipadika yogin is derived from the word yoga by suffixing in pratyaya. The in pratyaya comes in the sense of the one who has. Okay, it is a tadita pratyaya. So we will see, when we see tadita pratyaya, we will see in also. So one who has. So yogin means one who has yoga, or one who is with yoga. So he is a yogin or a yogi, right? So in declension in masculine, we will see the steps. In 1/1, the elongation of dirgha of the penultimate upada e and the elation of nakara of the pratipadika are observed. So here, what is happening is the nakara, ending nakara is also elided. Okay, so we will see that in the next one. This is coming under nalopa. We saw nalopa, very first consonant sandhi. So that nalopa kicks in here. So the nakara gets elided. Okay. So for some pratipadika, natva sandhi takes place when ach beginning supratyaya follows. So we have to remember here the nakara ending in nalopa and also natva sandhi we have to remember. And one more, this thing is this, when we remove the nakara, it will become what? Yogi, correct? But in 1/1, that it becomes dirgha, yogi it becomes. Okay. Yeah, it becomes yogi. Then other things are same. Only 1/1 these changes are there. You must remember. Most of the changes are, exceptions we are finding only in 1/1. Other things, mostly there are very little changes, or very changes are easily understandable. Here, there is a variety of changes which we have to remember rather in 1/1. So yogina, yogina, yoginam, yogina, 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 yogibhyam, yogibihi. Here again the nakara is going away, right? Here yogina is there, but nakara is being dropped here again. The nalopa is happening. Yogibhyam, yogibihi, yogibhyam, yogibhyah, yogibhyam, yogibhyah. Then again yogina, yoginoho, yoginam, yogini, yoginoho, yogishu. Correct? 7/3. Yogisu na yogishu. Hey yogin, hey yogino, hey yogina. If you see, in vocative, it comes back to yogin. Whereas in 1/1, it is yogi. So this change we have to make a note. That normally we will say that Sambodhana is just add a to the 1/1, and then maximum some places we will remove the visarga. But here the whole the bhakti is changing. Here it is yogi, here it is hey yogin. Then nakara is nalopa doesn't take place here. Okay, here only nalopa is taking place, and it is becoming dirgha. Upada dirgha is taking place. This is yogin. Okay, so what is happening? Yogin plus sakara. The sakara is elided. Then being inending pratipadika, the penultimate e is elongated. E, it becomes yogin. Then at the end of the pada, last nakara pratipadika is elided by nalopa 8 to 7. Then yogin plus s, that is sambodhana. The supratyaya without it letter, then supratyaya is elided after consonant, so it becomes yogin. For sambodhana, the elongation of penultimate upada dirgha and the elation of nakara does not take place. This has to be removed. Then yogin plus au, yoginau, final form. Then yogin, supratyaya, at the end of the pada, again nakara is, it's all pada section. Remember, this is all coming in pada section. That is why the nakara is getting elided, because these are all, yogi is a pada here. Yogishu also is pada. So there also nakara is elided, nalopa taking place. So I was here, yeah. So yoginau, then Yogibhyam, then Yoginsu. Yoginsu, again, Yogi is a pada section, Nakara is elided. Then being preceded by Inko, right? Sakara becomes Murdhanya Sakara. So you check up Murdhanya Sakara becoming Shakara rule, then we will know that what, because Inko is the Ku is preceding, that's a Kavarga is preceding with E rather. Then it becomes Shura. So Yogi Shu, it becomes final form. So in the declension of the feminine, a feminine suffix E, Ni, is added to Pratipadika, resulting in Yogini, and it declines like Nadi. So this is the feminine declension of Yogi and Yogini, Yogin Shabda, right, in Pullinga and Strilinga. Then other inending words are Adhikarin, Jnanin, Dehin, Pakshin, Pranin, Bairin, Shargin, Shastrin, Sansarin, Sakshin, Swamin, Hastin. So there are other inending Pratipadikas are there. So I think this has been a little bit heavy today. So I will stop here, maybe a few minutes, couple of minutes earlier, and we will take up Matub, Vatub ending Pratipadika, Vat and Vat, Mat and Vat in the next class. And I will also, I remember to show you the homework screen. So I will show you the class 135 homework. Okay. So here what you have to do is, now this is, you have to identify the sandhis, right? And also do the padacheda. Nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate satah ubhayorapi drishtontas tvanayos tattva darshibihi. So this is a very beautiful sloka. Essence of entire Vedanta and the realities of Prapancha is there in this sloka, which I will explain in Bhagavad Gita class. Then the one you have to combine, is Antavantaha ime dehaha nityasya uktaha sharirinaha anashinaha aprameyasya tasmat yudhyasva bharata. This is one you have to combine and then name the appropriate, use the appropriate sandhis to combine and then name the sandhis also. We will see the solutions in the next class on Wednesday. Okay. So any questions for today's class? Two things I remember. Vari I have to check, and then I will check this Krishna Karmakrit also.
Going above 1 foot.
It will go only. I mean, you can't help it. These are all things, this is like I compare it to planting a coconut tree. You plant the coconut tree, you know how long it takes for the coconut tree to, get hold in the land and start growing. It takes several years. It's unlike other things and all that you just put the seed in about a month's time, they will all sprout. Coconut doesn't happen. That's why it's called Kalpataru rather. So this is Sanskrit is as valuable as a coconut tree. It will take time. But unless you sow the seed, nothing will grow. Honestly, let me tell you, you're all feeling so this thing. Till I started teaching you people, I had very, very vague idea only about all these things. I have learned all these things fine. Everything was taught to us 3.5 years in Gurukulam. We spent all Panini Sutras, everything was taught. But you just imagine, here we are having 2 classes in a week, right? There we used to have 2 classes in a day. Morning 1 class, afternoon 1 class. This was the rigor, and 7 days a week. We went through how much we can absorb in that kind of this thing you can imagine. But what I now discover, and it is really a beauty, is that what all has gone in has been there, like the coconut tree planting. It is all there inside. It has not gone anywhere, except that I have no opportunity to recall them. I have no opportunity to bring it out rather. Now when I have to prepare for
Guruji, how many students were there in your class?
see,
Who
we
did-
had two batches
Ah,
in Gurukulam. There was one batch which was people who were lot familiar with Sanskrit. They were put in Swami Shankarananda's class. Then beginners, those who had no idea about Sanskrit or who were not very familiar with Sanskrit, they were put in Medha Michika's class. She was also a teacher. In her class, there were about 40 students. In our class, there were 12 students. Because obviously, that required some background for Sanskrit. And what happened was, actually speaking, there was a third batch also of some students, some 10 or 12 students who were in between, who had some familiarity with Sanskrit, but not the advanced level familiarity. They were put in one Swamini Agamananda's class, they were put in. We studied there under Swamini Agamananda for 2 months. Then Swamini had to go to UK. She is from UK only, and she had to leave for UK. So we 10, 11 students, we were left in lurch. We didn't know what to do. So what Swamiji said, they gave an option to us. Either you join the advanced class or you can join the beginners class. So most of us who were there, they all joined the beginners class. 1 or 2 of us, we said we will take the risk, we will join the advanced class. Let us see what is there. That is how we ended up with Shankarananda's class. And even in the traditional teaching methodology of Panini Sutras, there are 2 types of methodologies. One methodology is the very traditional, which is Kashika Vritti and Pratama Vritti and all that teaching takes place. It goes sutra by sutra, sutra by sutra, and then the interconnected sutras are all connected and then presented. Whereas Medha Michika, she followed Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, which is a modern way of teaching, which is the entire Panini Sutras is divided into subjects. And then based on that, the teaching is done. So in that, what happens is that some sutra, interconnected sutra, they won't be taught immediately. They will be taught only when their turn comes. But you will be told there is such a sutra, there is a rule, you have to remember that rule. Just like I am telling you now, rather. So there are 2 types of teaching itself took place in our batch, rather. One by Medha Michika, one by Swami Shankarananda. So whatever the way Shankarananda, he used the traditional methodology, very detailed methodology. So everything that went in the class and all, I used to struggle like you are all struggling now. Nothing is understand. Everything is going 1 foot, 1 yard above and all that. And he used to call us.
do you have tests, Guruji? Do you have tests or no tests?
No
Exam?
text,
Okay.
only this Panini Sutras, the Ashtadhyayi, and for reference purposes, we had they had given us Kashika Vritti, 3 volumes, Pratama Vitri, again 3 volumes they had given, then dictionary and all that. I mean, Gurukulam is beautiful in that, I mean, they will supply all necessary reference books which is required for our learning. But where is the time? It's morning from 7 o'clock onwards till evening of 5:15 or 5:30, we are busy in classes. Except for 1-2 hours in the afternoon after lunch, 1 hour break we get. So where is the time to refer to material, learn and all that, do practice and all? No time at all, 3.5 years. But what I find is nothing goes waste. It's all there. Now, when I am going through for preparation, Chartvam and all this, Natvam and all, everything is coming back. Oh, yeah, exactly. I have learned that. I have learned this. I have learned this. So it becomes easier. So what I am trying to tell you or impress upon you is that you don't even need to worry, oh, I am not remembering anything and all that. We are doing some exercises in terms of, practicing some homework and all simple homeworks we are doing that. Keep on doing it. Don't leave touch with the language. The more and more we have now done this infant reader, right? We'll finish 5 more lessons are there. We will finish it. then we will see, I mean, in the classes, because there are few topics which I still need to complete rather for giving the whole, this thing. I may probably not take Ekasesha Vritti, but Tadita Vritti, then Sanadhyanta Vritti has to be done, Samasas have to be done, right? So these are all we will cover rather. So during that time, we will use some other text, for example, RSS books, which Ramuji has circulated. We will use some, chapters from that text to do our reading and understanding the various usages and all that. We will continue to do that. So what I'm saying is, don't get anxious. Oh, I'm not understanding anything. As long as you are attentive, it is going inside, it will all come out. You will never forget it. But be in touch. Like I was not in touch with the language till I started teaching you. That was a mistake that I did. I accept. But God has been very kind for me to give me this opportunity and give me wonderful, interested students like you to listen to me 2 days in that week rather. And because I want to give my best, whatever within my ability, whenever I get time, I only do preparation for my classes rather. I will check, here, there and all. And in that process also, I am learning a lot of new things rather. So that is all now getting settled down, in fact, in my mind. So next time somebody asks me what is Natvam, what is Shatvam, I will be able to tell them this is what is Jashtvam rule, this is what is Natvam rule. And I honestly, before I actually even started the Sandhi chapter, I did not know these rules. I know that these rules are there, but what are those rules? I didn't know. I had to study and then I have to prepare notes, prepare presentations and teach you. Now I am more confident that I know these rules, how to use them, where to use them and all that. So
now
what I'm saying is, don't get anxious about this. Just keep on listening, working. Maybe time you get revise once or twice. Yeah, somebody is saying something.
because I am not able to concentrate on this. Now I am slightly busy with
I
the
can
office.
understand. See, individual problems will be there. I can very well understand your situation, Krishna Kumar. But what I'm saying is, whenever it is possible, attend the class, just listen. You don't need to do one thing. If you don't get time or opportunity, even don't forget the homework also. Just go through them. If whenever you get the time, you go through these slides, go through the homework and all that. At least that will go and register in your mind and you will know that this is how it is. So individuals there, but in general, I'm telling you, this process has worked for me and I'm sure it will work for you. And once you are a little bit confident, and you must have a little courage for that, get into teaching, get hold of a few people and start teaching them. And I'm telling you, the best way to learn the language is to teach. And I am not here to learn the language, to do conversations in Sanskrit and all that. Honestly speaking, that was not the goal in Gurukulam also. They did not want us to learn spoken Sanskrit and all, and then we go and start talking Sanskrit with mistakes and things like that. Other person, if he happens to be a very good scholar, he will correct our mistakes. Otherwise, if the other person to whom we are talking is like us also, both of us will be talking only in error-ridden Sanskrit rather. Both will not know what is correct. So they will not concentrate on the spoken Sanskrit at all. They concentrated on the purpose. Vedanta, your Upanishads, when you study, you must know what is the meaning, how to derive the meaning of those words. Especially when you study Shankara Bhashyam and all that. Shankara Bhashyam, Adi Shankara, Sanskrit is like, blood flowing in his veins rather. So he will come up with certain very wonderful kind of usages, which we will not be aware at all. So there, we will be actually forced to learn what kind of forms and all he uses and all that. For that purpose only Bhagavad Gita, studying Bhagavad Gita, and so many texts are there. In our language, Sanskrit language, got millions of texts. Any text when you take up, even we were not even exposed to Kumar Sambhavam and all that, like Kalidasa's works, because they are still very advanced. If we have to, I have interest, I will have to take up the study myself with Kalidasa's works and all. And that will require a lot of time rather, because Kalidasa samasas and all left, right, and center he will use. Now I will have to know everything about samasas to understand what is there. Even to split one sentence, one word will be one full line. How to split that word, I will have to first figure out what are all the different padas in that. Whether sandhis are there, samasas there, in one word, all things will be there. It will be one composite word. So all that is a lot of time rather. But again, I am not aiming at that. For my purpose, Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranamam, or Lalita Sahasranamam, all that if I study and I for myself understand what the meanings are, I am happy with that. So what I'm saying is, you just imagine from where we started and where we have reached now, and we will reach the final stage also. But even at the end of that, I am not guaranteeing that you will remember everything that has been taught. Nobody does. In no subject we can do that. It is only by using it again and again and again, we will get all those things back, memory back, and understanding, more understanding. Yeah. So don't get perplexed about this.
Veye krite sarvadaya nityam.
Sorry?
Veye krite vardadeva nityam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That is what it is. So you have to keep on practicing. You have to be in touch. The biggest mistake many people do is they learn a language and they lose touch. They don't use it at all. I mean, I have done one diploma course, advanced diploma course in French language long ago, maybe 50 years ago. Right. So I did the course, I got good marks and all, very fine diploma and all that. But what's the use? I mean, I've never used that language, anywhere rather. Of course, now I have got the familiarity in the sense that if I see a text in French, I can read and also make out the rough meaning. I mean, I may not know grammatically how to analyze and all, but I will know what is being conveyed there. That much French I know, I can manage with that. But I can't speak French. If I go to Paris and all that, try to speak French, people will run away from me. So language is like that. Once you learn it, you have to constantly, be in touch with the language. So then it will be fine. Okay. Shall we close today and continue on Wednesday?
Prayer.
Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari.
Dhanyawad.
Dhanyawad. Thank you very much.
Namaste Guruji. Namaste.
Hari Om Guruji. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
Dhanyawad.